Hi everybody, Pete Walker here from Waxwicked Plants. Welcome to our nursery in North Yorkshire. We live in a little village called Scampston, like the village that time forgot. Quick panorama here from the wide. You can see we are blessed with nice open countryside, beautiful views, so we are very lucky. So together with our glamorous assistant, my missus, and Billy the dog, who's coming into shot now, this is our spot. So welcome to our first greenhouse. This house is our show plants. We also have a few different plants in here, but mainly big show plants, 3 litres plus, most of them, some 5-10 litres. As you can see, you've timed it right. The plants are just all coming into flower. We have beautiful reds, yellows, some orange, some scarlet. So we have a real vast array of beautiful flowers. This year we were going to sell the flowers, or try and sell the flowers, to flower shops in Malton, our local town, but obviously that's not going to happen now. So once we've finished doing the filming and our virtual display, we're going to cut the flowers off and give them to people in the village. Some we might keep for crossing ourselves, but the majority we'll give away. People can try them. Something nice for the windowsills. So as you can see, they're all big plants in here. Some more compact. We have some really tall varieties as well. As you can see, the pictures are just starting to get into full swing. All the nice red tubes and beautiful flavas, yellow pitcher plants. Down the far end we've got some of our own seedlings as well coming on. They're starting to send up nice pictures already themselves. So we're quite excited what's the future's going to bring with them. We also trial quite a lot of our plants in a peat-free mix, which the Sarracenias particularly seem to like. And we have customers who don't really like using peat, so that's the reason we started with it. We also have some large Venus flytraps at the back here, as you can see. This greenhouse is the latest one to go up on the nursery, as we were running out of room, as we generally do. It was erected by Stan the Grassman. I'm sure of quite a lot of you remember Stan. He put up the frame and we glazed it. I nearly took a finger off while doing it, but that's another story. So that's our first greenhouse. Outdoors, we grow a lot of our plants outdoors as well. As you can see, we have lagoons and trays where we're growing them. We're just in the process of cleaning the lagoons, and we'll get them all ready for some of our hardier varieties that live outside. So the second greenhouse is a real showstopper as well. This one's that houses all our giants. You can see they're all just waking up now. These are the Oreophyllus, the green pitcher plants, as you can see, full of flower. These would have been beautiful for Harrogate and Chelsea, but unfortunately it's not to be. So again, lots of gorgeous flowers and promising pictures. The one at the back here is my wife's plant, Elenia's plant. She's nicknamed it Big Bertha, and we're actually holding a competition to see who can guess what size it's going to reach this year. It's going to be up here somewhere, of course. We also have lots to pot up still. We never seem to have a dull day on the nursery. Hey, Billy. But as you can see, these are all big plants. Some are in 10-litre pots. The majority are in 3 litres plus. So they're all going to be substantial plants. All different colours, all different shapes and sizes. See an enormous hooded pitcher plant there that's just waking up. This is a brilliant time for carnivorous plants as everything's bursting into life. We even have quite a common one here, a Cape Sundew, but as you can see, even they get big. So, moving on, you can see all our water butts here wired up. We collected plenty of rain in the winter, but we haven't had rain now for over 2 months, so we are starting to get through our reserves. And if you'll note down there, we have some moss. This moss is going to be used for our edging, as we've decided against bricks and cobbles because it was just about killing my family. So we also have an outdoor back garden here. Spinning round to that. We're going to plant a few more plants in that, and it needs a good water today as well. But they'll live outside all year round, of course. So moving into what is our sales tunnel. It has got a little bit mixed up because we're always running out of space, as I say. Behind the door we have some of our lovely sundews, hardy sundews. You can see they've all woken up now and ready for midges, mozzies and flies. We also have our pots of horrors here. We also have native sundews. They've been very popular this year, particularly online. We sell a lot of natives. You see the gorgeous colours on those, and they are like super glue to a midge or a mosquito. And here we have our hybrids from last year, all waking up again. Lots of flowers on them as well. And these are some of our hybrids that just colour up really nicely. Some of our Evas from last year, you can see old growth and new growth on them. And when we repot something, such as today, the Glamorous Assistant's been repotting some Citicinas. This one's giant floating from Sandy Bottom Creek. We always have more to do, always have more to pot up, split, divide, etc. Nothing goes to waste here, so a pot like that has sundews in, we'll pot up the sundews individually and split the Venus flytraps, split the Sarracenias. That has been our winter job. So these are last year's specimen plants, if you like. They need the old leaves cutting off, the new leaves are coming through, the flowers are coming through. So here's a good example of how your Sarracenia would look from last year. These are your old leaves, these are your beautiful new leaves coming up. So I do get customers panicking a bit about oh, my leaves have gone brown or whatever, but it is quite normal. As you can see, they do get crispy at the top and they do go brown. They're just old leaves, it's quite natural. It's a natural thing to happen to them. So over here we have a lot of our peat-free flavas, our yellow pitcher plants. They're all emerging. As you can see, they don't mind the peat-free mix at all. If anything, some I think do slightly better. But I certainly don't notice a huge difference between growing Sarracenias in peat or in the peat-free mix. So they're all waking up now, which is a great thing. These are our little plug plants from last year's Chelsea flower show. We had a few left over, so we've just left them in the cold polytunnel for the winter, and they're all starting to wake up now, so we can do lots of mixes with those. We're planning to sell little packs that we would have sold at Chelsea this year, with 3 Sarracenias in a blister pack with its own little Chelsea bag. So it'll be as though you've been to Chelsea without going to Chelsea, if you know what I mean. Here we have some of our beautiful black purpureas. We've nicknamed this one Wax Black. It is the darkest of all the purple pictures, which is the hardiest of them all. And we also have the King Sundew here. This is Drosera regia. A beautiful plant. And some nice dark fly traps as well. And more of our plug plants. We also have all our Venus flytraps here, as you can see. These are all just waking up. We love our flytraps. And also some sundews up there that we've been dividing up. We've just split some cobra lilies as well. Very popular are the cobra lilies or Darlingtonias, you can see. This one's going to a new home shortly. We're just getting it nice and wet first. And more of our native sundews that we're struggling to keep up at the moment with those. There's a high demand for them, which is great. So moving on. You've picked a good day for filming. The sun's shining, of course. So again, the view from the office, the dog's Sparko in the car. Billy. So, right. This was a tunnel that we put up the end of last year to house our new plants. So these would have been for Cardiff, Harrogate, those 2 shows. We're now selling them online, which is great. We also have some slightly unusual varieties in here as well. More of the King Sundews in the corner. A nice variety of Utricularia or bladderwort there. And a beautiful yellow-green Drosera Banata fork-leaved sundew. And this is our show plant. This one was on the telly last year at Chelsea. King Sundew again. Not the King Sundew, the thread-leaved sundew rather. Filiformis from America. I forget the name of the lady who did the interview. Harriet. She seemed quite taken with that one. So again, next door is our neighbour, Scampston Walled Garden Nursery. Into this tunnel is mainly flavas. So yellow pitcher plants, but also red tubes, also varieties, different varieties of flava like ornata, rubricorpora, atropa purea. It does smell a bit of cat in here, that's the yellow flowers. But we also have some beautiful reds like this Don Schnell here. This is a gorgeous plant. Who wouldn't say no to that? So as you can see, this tunnel is full to the rafters. We keep thinking each time we put a new tunnel together or put a new tunnel up that that'll be us, will be full, but we managed to fill them within about a week. This one again is a mixture of stock and display plants. This is where the customers head for first, thinking that they can buy all our stock and display plants, so we have to let them down gently in here normally. If we do have a spare, we will sell it obviously, but we have to keep our stocks back as well for some of our rarer stuff. So here we've got some beautiful hybrids as well, but the majority in here are yellow pitcher plants. We also have our 9cm plants along here. This is a mixture of hybrids, varieties where we've run out of space, so they all end up in here. But they are all in 9cm pots, so they're the smaller varieties. Some have kept the winter colour, like this beautiful Chelsonii. Look at that. Stunner, eh? That's last year's leaves, and that's this year's new ones. So sometimes you'll get plants that hold on to the colour right throughout the winter months, which is nice for us because we like to wander around even in winter. Here we have our alatas. We have a tray full of rubras, which is the sweet pitcher plant. And again, lots of different hybrids, lots of different coloured flowers. We have a lot that have lost their labels as well, which is probably down to me. But we also get sometimes people will drop a collection off, they don't know what they are or where they've come from. So we generally nurse them back to good health and then try and work out what they are, which is great fun. Well, the wife gets a bit frustrated because she likes everything labelled. Now, of course, we have to give everything a passport as well, just as if we hadn't got enough to do, we now have to put passports on everything. So again, let's finish off in this tunnel with some beautiful varieties of Sarracenias with the flowers. Look at that. Work of art, isn't it? Right, so moving on. This half barrel over here is going to be turned upside down at some point and planted up. We are in the process of planning a lot for outdoors, but we don't seem to have the time at the minute. Here we have more of our outdoor plants. When we run out of room, they go outside. I've never any worries about losing them in the winter. So into our next tunnel, this is a selection of Darlingtonias. You can see there in flower as well. Probably I'll hold one up so you can have a close look at the flower, but they are one of the spookiest looking flowers you'll see. I love them personally. And again, we're trialling a few in peat free and some in pure sphagnum moss, which seems to work well for them. Again, more of our own seedlings. We also have here some unusual varieties. A lot of these aren't yet on the market. We were going to slowly introduce them at shows this year. They're only just waking up. They are very slow. I think this tunnel possibly gets a little bit less light than the rest, but when they do wake up, you'll see we have some beautiful pure white varieties, or near enough pure white, and some unusual crosses. L19 times Adrian Slack, a famous name. A lot of Linda Butt crosses as well. That seems to be a good plant to cross with. And we also have Wilkinson's Red times Adrian Slack, so there's a lot of quite unusual plants here. Here at the back as well, we have some of our specimen sundews, some of the large Benatas. You can see the fork-leaved sundew. Look, love, that's caught a fly there, look. Lunch on the wing. Do you see it? So they're all just waking up as well. We have an unusual plant here called Smurf. Not everyone's cup of tea. In fact, some people think I should take a flamethrower to it, but I quite like it. I like anything a bit different. And some people really do like the unusual. So here's a load more seedlings. Literally hundreds of seedlings in here, all just starting to wake up. So the coming weeks and months we'll see some of them will have real potential, others may not. So most of these have got the name of the cross, but they aren't named varieties or anything yet. So this is our final tunnel, and this one hosts our Oreophyllus green pitcher plants and our Leucophyllus, which are the white pitcher plants, and also all our brand new seedlings, plus a host of cobra lilies that are growing in underneath the benches, because a cobra lily likes semi-shade as well as sun, so that one does well under our benches. We also have some Leucophylla hybrids, nice crosses, and again the flowers are just coming a bit later in this tunnel because the Leucophyllus flower later than the flavas, so we'll get flowers for the next couple of months. You can see the Leucos have kept their colour throughout the winter. We also have some Sarracenium minor here. That's your photo. And here we have a lot of our 9cm Leucophyllus, crosses, hybrids, and when we run out of room, other plants. So these is just showing you some of the beds there that are in the process of emerging from winter dormancy. There's a beautiful one here, one of our favourites, called Anne Carlisle. Look at the flowers here as well. Lily's very kindly brought his tennis ball for us to throw for him. Yes, boy. So here we have our seedlings. Also small Oreophyllus here, just waking up. Here we have seeds yet to emerge. Here we have some sundews that we sowed in January. They're just emerging now. These are our native ones, the round-leaved sundew and intermedia, Anglica. This year's seedlings, our senior seedlings, not showing anything as yet. And these are last year's seeds that have all woken up last year and are now starting to put on a bit of growth. There's one here we like particularly. I'm a bit biased, obviously. This one we've nicknamed Wax Golden One. As you can tell by the title, it's gold. So here we've got lots of crosses that we're expecting big things from. So as time goes on, these will develop. We select the larger ones, pot them on as soon as they start to show good size, and they'll go into 9cm pots and grow them on. Some are already showing good potential. Underneath are the cobra lilies again. They do like a bit of semi-shade, and they like cool roots, so we've put them on flags if you notice. So they're on concrete flags or slabs. There you go, Billy. And as you can tell by the colour, more flavas down the bottom here. These seem to have lost the labels. I blame the wife, obviously. But at least we're quite certain that they're flavas, or a flava in them, judging by the... Yeah. And here we have some of our native butterworts. Pinguicula grandiflora. Look at that little beauty. And also some threadleaf sundews. So, is that about it? So that concludes our tour of waxwicked plants. I know it's been a bit random, but at least the weather's been nice, and hopefully you've got an idea of the kind of nursery that we run. We do love our plants, and hopefully that comes across. Thanks very much, folks.